Question: have you ever wanted to find the balance between schoolwork, your home life, and just life all around together? Well, we have a program for you. It's a one-step, all-around fitness balance for you and your family.
Hi, I'm Coach Bobby Bob, and I'm here to tell you about the workout problem that's gonna work your mindset, your bicep, your tricep, your everything step. And let's go, because it's games o'clock!
Here at Bobby Bob Boot Camp, we are structured around many different disciplines in order to help you achieve the best discipline that is made possible, such as stretching and chin-up discipline. We want you to be developing as the best human, as you can see from this man doing chin-ups, that he is once regarded as a man who cannot do chin-ups at all. Now look at him, he's a floating head doing chin-ups. Now, let's hear from one of our testimonies from one of our tenured associates.
I've been doing the Coach Bobby Bob program for 17 years and it's changed my life forever.
Discipline!
Join Bobby Bob Boot Camp now for a limited time offer. Buy one, get one 50% off. Bobby Bob Boot Camp is not responsible for any headaches, injuries, or any loss of discipline. Call now.
So my friend Bobby Bob was talking about this word discipline a lot. But what do you think when you hear that word discipline? Do you think the word punishment? We sometimes hear disciplinary actions must be taken in some of our language today, or my parents, when they used to say you've got to be disciplined for your actions if I did something bad. But in reality, it's actually being pushed away from its original meaning, which is to learn or to teach. So like an athlete, for example, works really hard, or a dancer trains really hard. They actually sometimes call that a discipline. So I just want you to discuss in your small groups, whether it's yourself in your life today, if it's in your small group, or if you're at home doing this with a buddy, or if you're doing this with your parents even, what does it look like for us to have discipline in our lives today?
I think to everybody, discipline can look like a lot of things in a lot of different areas. It could even be as simple as me, or maybe some of you guys, you have homework to do, but you really want to watch Netflix or something like that. You really want to watch the show, but you got to keep yourself disciplined. You know that in order to watch a ton of Netflix, you got to get your homework done, and you got to balance that. You got to get your homework done, and you got to watch Netflix. So how do you stay disciplined in that? That's what I think discipline is.
I think it's denying the easy way of anything. So if you're gonna run a race, you need to discipline yourself to be able to run the length of the race. If you are want to get a good grade, you got to discipline yourself in putting in the work. Discipline is like hard work to get you to where you want to be.
Do we have discipline in our lives today? It's like, you gotta prepare. You're not just, walking up to a marathon. You gotta actually prepare and train for it. So like when we're talking about like reading the Bible and stuff, you're not just gonna jump in and read the whole Bible in one night. You're gonna start slowly. You might start with one verse or two verses a night and work your way up.
You see, one of the best ideas of discipline can come from many places. You can draw wisdom from a lot of places focusing on the word discipline. One of my favorite places I like to pull it from is actually from a certain book in the Bible. When you look at this author, you can see he talks about discipline frequently, right? And I'm talking about Paul, the apostle. He talks about this in a very big, broad spectrum in little pockets, as you see. But one of the examples we see is when you look at the book of Timothy itself. You see in the book of Timothy, Timothy was in charge of this church, and there's a lot of differences in this church, and he felt like he just wasn't qualified enough for the job. He didn't feel like he had received enough training. I don't know if you guys ever have experienced that, whether you're starting part-time jobs or if you're trying to learn something new and you get frustrated or discouraged because you're just like, oh, I'm just not good enough. That's where the word discipline really comes into effect. You see, he gives the best depiction of discipline when he likes to compare us to athletes. Paul really loves to compare a lot of things. He has all these analogies, but when we look at 1 Timothy 4:8, for physical training is of some value, but godliness has value of all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. So that's found in 1 Timothy 4:8, that we need to be training, right? But it doesn't matter what we're doing it in. It could be esports, it could be sewing, it could be dancing, could even be Lederhosen dancing. Whatever it may be, we can always pull some discipline into our lives. We can learn and teach others. But one thing that I was curious about is that word godliness. So before we dive into a little bit more of that, I just want you to discuss in your groups, or if you're doing with someone at home, I just want you to ask yourself this question, or ask the others around you this question. What do you think Paul was talking about when he was talking to Timothy about having godliness?
I think he meant like godliness as like, we gotta put the work in, we gotta actually like know scripture and live by it, not just say we know, but actually know and live by it.
I think godliness is it's similar to like when he was talking in the verse. We got to do physical training, and also along with physical training, for our spiritual self, we have to do spiritual training. There's certain things that we have to do, either like reading the Bible or praying. We have to set apart ourselves from the world and stuff like that. And so, in order to be more like Christ and godly, we have to do certain things to be godly, and that's godliness.
So, what do you guys think? Did you think that Timothy actually had to become a god himself, assume his ultimate form? No, it's not that at all. What Paul was talking about when he was talking to Timothy was about having that balance in your life. That's when we talk about discipline again, having that balance between your spiritual side as well as your physical side, or what you want to do. For we have physical training is of some value, right? But godliness has value all on its own. So we've got to have that balance in our life. But what does balance look like? It's hard to juggle school, sports, or dancing, or sewing, or your Lederhosen training, whatever you may have. It's hard to have that balance in life. So I want to ask you guys this question. Again, something to discuss in your groups and amongst yourselves with each other. Or even if you want to put it in the comments in this section below. What should it look like for us to have balance in our lives? How does that look personally for yourself? So we talked a lot about discipline and what godliness is and how to find that balance in our lives. But it doesn't stop here. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not going to be talking about how you have to go on this crash diet, start this crazy exercise routine, and become spiritually woke, right? Things like that don't happen overnight anyways. Instead of having this instantaneous change in our lives, it's going to take time. So I just want to encourage you all, take a moment. Whether you're in your groups or you're at home by yourself, grab a pen, grab a notebook, and just take a moment to hash out a plan. Even bounce some ideas off of your buddies, or even having that person to say, hey, can you hold me accountable to this? Can you walk through this journey with me? Try different things, because God made us all different, and we're never going to figure this out right away. It's taken me years to develop routines and habits, and still trying to figure it out to this day. But Paul also talks about that word training, right? And we all know training takes time, whether it's a new job, or if it's a new skill in hockey, or whether it's a new dance routine, or even if it's a new pattern with sewing, whatever it may be, it's going to take us time to learn these things. So give yourself that grace that it's okay, it's going to take a while to do this. It's not going to be an overnight change. But even if you start with those little moments, like praying before you go into a test, or when your brothers and sisters are frustrating you and you say, God, I just need some patience right now, or whatever it may look like. Just having that, starting with that moment, that just a little bit of prayer, or just that one verse that you're reading, it'll make a world of difference in your life, and you'll see you'll want more. So that's what discipline is when we start learning, then we start teaching, and we start having that hunger for more. So I just want to encourage you guys again with that verse. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value in this life and next. Stay blessed, guys. We'll see you back here next week, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week.